All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are having another interview with a prospective candidate, if you will, for the Frisco Independent School Board, or Board of Trustees, if you prefer, for those of you in Frisco. And I'm going to turn the mic over here in just a moment. We're going to give him about 2 to 3 minutes to introduce himself and kind of say who he is and why is he wanting to do the school board thing. There you go, Mr. Marvin Lowe.
Yes, my name is Marvin Lowe, and I'm running for the Frisco Independent School District's Board of Trustees, place number 2. I'm the father of 4. I've been living in Frisco since 2007, and I've been in Texas since 97. The reason I'm running is I've had a child, at least one child in school in Frisco schools for the last 11 years, and I've seen a marked difference in the way education is handled from my son to my youngest daughter, and I was just curious about what's going on, and there was a lot of talk about critical race theory and things like that in the news, and so I decided to talk to the board, to email the board and find out what they thought about it. And they basically said there's no CRT being taught in the schools, which is technically correct because CRT is not a subject that you teach in the school. It's the theory that you teach from. It's a philosophy that one has. And when I basically went back and said, what is your opinion on CRT? I couldn't get a straight answer. And that was one of the things that prompted me to run, because I think a lot of things are entered into our school district just by way of people denying and not being honest about what they believe. So I decided to run and get in the race.
All right, very good. So, about 90 seconds. Why are you the best choice for this position?
Oh, I could tell you I'm the best choice, but the truth is I really don't know. If I'm going to be absolutely honest, I've been in sales, so I know how to speak in hyperbole and all that. But the bottom line is I do think that I have something a lot different to offer the students and the citizens of Frisco than the current board. And that's, I don't have any interest in the political aspect of it. I really do care for my kids and for the kids of the community. And there are things that I see that are happening that the board are just really turning a blind eye to or are not aware of. And I really want to confront those things head on when it comes to CRT, when it comes to the way we're grading now. Those are things that just have to be addressed. Otherwise, Dallas will be competing with you to see who could get down to the bottom the fastest.
Okay, fair enough. Truth be told, both of my daughters did graduate in Frisco ISD, and there was a significant difference between what my elder daughter got versus my younger daughter, but my younger daughter had actually graduated 2 years ago, and apparently things have gotten progressively worse since then. So, what would be your primary area of concern that needs to be addressed at the school board level?
There are several things that need to be addressed. I'm really going after CRT, and I think that's really hurting our system. And when I say CRT, I'm not talking about the school is teaching a course in CRT. What I'm talking about is their philosophy of governing the school district is influenced by CRT and influenced by the fact that they believe that the United States was founded illegitimately, and as a result, people of color have a harder time making it in society. And I just found that not to be true. Does racism exist? Absolutely. Does systematic institutional racism exist in Frisco? I say not. And what happens is when you try to treat systematic racism when there is none, you end up hurting the whole system. You end up hurting people who are part of the system. I'd say it's like trying to treat a pimple with chemotherapy. You're going to hurt your patient.
That's a really interesting analogy. What is one thing that you think the school district is doing well?
There are things that I think the school district is doing well. I'm going to give it a caveat, though, because from the outside it looks good, but I don't know the details. but that's these public and private partnerships, like the deal they did with Dallas Cowboys. I think it's good. I think the experience that the kids are getting from playing over at the Star and us being able to utilize that facility is great. Now, the one caveat is I don't know how much we paid for it or what we're into it for, but all things being equal, it's a very positive thing. The second thing is we made a deal with the PGA. So we're going to have kids that are learning hospitality. They're going to be able to intern over there. They're going to be able to do hospitality, groundkeeping. Those are opportunities that other school districts just don't have, and I think they're awesome. I think we should piggyback on some more of those partnerships, but we should do it. It doesn't have to be so grand. Why don't we partner with a plumbing company out there? Partner with the car dealerships. Partner with the HVAC companies to get a pipeline from education to work. They can get the needed skills before they even graduate from high school to get some of the highest paying jobs that are out there.
Yeah, so Frisco's got their educational center for
yes, the CTE. Yes,
that would be my mind, an ideal way to transition from not every kid should go to college, but
absolutely
there are opportunities aside from college that could make you equally successful. Good point. Now, if you were talking to somebody outside of the area and you were going to sell Frisco Independent School District, if you could put on your salesman hat for a moment here, how might you do that in a minute or two?
That's a good question. Am I an honest salesman, or do I just want to get them to come here?
No, you want to be honest.
I would say that one of the pluses that we have in the area is our diversity. We are in a very diverse community where you talk about Indians, Hispanics, blacks, whites. We're all in a very diverse community, and we get along. I mean, you don't have you think about some communities, maybe on the West Coast and other places, they have problems with the races. My kids had, I was just marveling over the fact that he's had Jewish people over our house, and then he's had some Indians over our house, and we have Hispanics and Chinese. And I just found it very interesting that all those people are in our group. And I think that's one of the strengths of our community. The one bad thing, though, is I don't like it when the district or when institutions in our community highlight the differences. We all come from different backgrounds, but based on our country's motto, for many, one. You don't highlight all the differences. We come here, we're Americans, we're taking advantage of the opportunities that we have here, and I think that's a good thing.
Okay, that sounds good. So, where do you see the school district in the future? In other words, if you look in a future time machine look, 5 or 10 years out, what do you see the likely outcome to be if things were to stay on the track that they're currently going, and where do you think we could go? So in other words, give a divergent outcome, if you will.
Right. I'd like to be optimistic, and I think we can be a great school district. I think we're a good school district now, although a lot of what people think about Frisco schools is based on its legacy and based on what we've done in the past. I think we're making some mistakes with the way we're grading. You may be familiar with Waterfall Grading, where you get a C on a quiz, but then you get an A on a test, and the A waterfalls over to the C, and now you have an A. And you might be familiar with some of the ways you can just take tests over and over until you get the grade you want. And the problem with that is that some schools allow you only to go up to 85, but other schools in the same district allow you to retake the test until you get 100. So things like that can hurt our district. We are starting to get a reputation amongst college admissions departments as grade inflators, and it's understandable. That is kind of what's happening with the way they grade, the way the grading system works here, and we need to do something about that.
Okay, that was new. I didn't know that one. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes in,
Uh-huh.
and to be respectful of your time, let me give you about 2 minutes for like a closing statement, if you will. Your pitch when you closing out on a stage somewhere. What would you say?
What I would say is that we live in a great and an awesome community. I mean, this is one of the better places to live, not only in North Texas, but in Texas, and if you read some of the reports, in the country as a whole. But that just doesn't happen by happenstance. What we have to do is we have to see what we've done good and do better. We have to constantly be improving. We can't sit on our laurels. And so what I see are things that are in our school system right now that are going to take away from its greatness. That's CRT, that's the way we lose teachers, and I think, and the way we're grading. All three of those things will ruin our school district. And as a result, it'll ruin a lot of other things. I'm a real estate broker by trade, and one of the biggest drivers to real estate prices are schools. And once we start getting a mediocre reputation of the school, it'll do something to our housing prices. But even more important than that, it'll do something to our kids. Our kids won't be as ready for college or as ready for the next stage of their life as possible. I'm saying, like me, vote for me. There's a couple of other people running that believe like me, and give us a chance to change or redirect where this school district is going. And I think it'll be a great place 5-10 years from now.
Excellent. Okay, I have one bonus question.
Yes.
Only because now I've heard this twice.
Okay.
Now, I've heard that there's a teacher exodus in Frisco, whereupon they bring in new teachers and within 2 years or whatever, they're leaving. What do you think is the primary cause, or what do you think the primary way to prevent that is?
You know, that's a great question, and that is true. Over the last 3 years, we've lost about 1,600 teachers. And we can't continue to have that type of turnover and be excellent. There are two major factors. One is teacher pay. We live in one of the most prosperous cities in the Metroplex. And I think our teachers' salaries should reflect that. That should be a priority. We should pay them well to be there. We should expect excellence of our teachers, but we should pay them well. The second thing is most teachers get into teaching to teach. What happens is they have an overwhelming burden of administrative work to do. They get burnt out over that administrative work. And so there's two things. Make it a prosperous job, make it a great job, make it something that they can be proud they're going to, and that's paying them well. And then take off some of the burden, the administrative burden, so they can exercise their gift.
All right. Well, those are actually two really good answers. Thank you. Why don't you give out your website or wherever the people can contact you at?
Sure. My website is Marvin Lowe for FISD.com. You could go there. You can email me from that site. You can make donations, which is really important also. And you can volunteer to help. I mean, we need help to win this thing. So if you think like me, if you think we can be better, go to the website, donate, sign up to help, and when it comes May, we'll have a new direction for the Frisco Independent School District.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Lowe. Appreciate your time. And true to my word, we're done in 13 minutes.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.